Last year, I had the honor of giving a keynote at AIGA, the Institute of Graphic Arts 2020 Design Conference. The conference theme was Building Bridges, and I'd like to share my message here. Now, I'm a designer, but the way that I like to think about it is I actually make glasses for a living. I make glasses that help people see things more clearly. Now, a lot of people would call these glasses frameworks. So whether they be about road mapping, workshop facilitation, design thinking, service design, I conduct research and then I distill that research into a common framework. My hope is that practitioners like you use these frameworks to inform your own work, maybe help visualize your role and expertise to others, or even just simply push the boundaries of how you think about something. Today, I want to build a pair of glasses with you. I want you to put them on and tell me what you see. But before we do, let's start with why we're building these glasses. We all think that we're these mission-driven problem solvers out to change the world. But if you look through all of our LinkedIn bios, each says something to the effect of, I'm this kind of designer, doing this kind of work, I went to this kind of program. This framework is at the center of this. I want to help us broaden our understanding of what we do, agnostic of the specific discipline or medium. We can communicate ourselves, our work, and our value based off of our purpose, not our discipline. So let's build a framework of how we can view ourselves as designers and our place in the world. The first component of our framework is the what. This is the materials, the medium, and techniques that we use, essentially our craft. Think the artifact or evidence each discipline produces. Architect, house. Graphic designer, posters. Type designer, fonts. It's what you create, it's what you do. This is the most straightforward piece of our framework. Now, if that's what you do, this next piece is how you do it, the how, the process, foundational approach, and behavior. The actions you take to create the what. I'm not saying discrete actions, but the broader approaches we take. Things like observing the world and distilling complex, ambiguous spaces, understanding the problem to be solved, gathering research and talking to users, collecting meaningful feedback. This is the process side of what makes us inherently designers. And then you have our last component, the why. This is the hardest and most abstract. This is the purpose behind the activities of your craft and the artifacts it creates. Now, this is pretty high level. I'm not talking about the goal of a specific project, like increasing return on investment, but why you chose to design. What motivates you to continue honing your craft? For example, if you're an architect, it's why you care about helping people build houses. To quote our founder, Don Norman, to make people more sensitive to the problems of life and to the needs of people. So most people start and lead their careers with the what, which, makes sense. It's the most tangible and frankly, topical. Thus, it's the easiest to communicate to ourselves and others. And then we have the how. It's what we create and our understanding of that creation. Now, as we mature, it's natural to shift towards the intentionality when it comes to process, fine-tuning our approach. I think of this like learning a language. First, we learn the what's, the vocabulary. And then we begin to string that vocabulary together in different ways. We speak it out loud. We learn the nuances of how to put everything together. And then finally, most designers start to question their why. But there's a problem with thinking in this order. If you lead with the what and the how, you inherently limit both how you see yourself and how others see you. Thus, even when the boundaries of design continue to expand, designers' minds remain shackled to their major, their medium, or title. And then we limit ourselves to the confines of these predetermined expectations, and then our impact becomes just as narrow as our approach. So let's take this traditional what, how, why and flip it. Let's change our lens and start with why as our foundation. And then from that, build into the how. And then last, the what. What becomes so powerful about this simple switch is realizing how much of who you are as a designer has little to do with the specific medium we work with, but rather the unique way we see the world. I routinely get asked how I transitioned from graphic design to user experience. I never viewed this as a transition, as I retained over 2/3 of who I am and just reapplied my skill set, like distilling meaning from the world, synthesizing complex concepts, or creating shared visualizations. Throughout life, we in the world will shift the mediums we work with. Tools, objects, technology will change with time. What stays consistent is your foundation of why you chose to be a designer. This also opens us up to new tables and spheres that design has never had a voice. If you don't decide what your purpose is, someone else will. This can be a bridge to everything, starting with the world. Even someone who you have the least in common with also has a why, whether they've articulated it or not. What we need more of in the world right now is understanding others' perspective and their whys, whether we agree with them or not. This can also be a bridge to others. Regardless of if you are sure in your why, taking this framework and bridging it to other designers gives you the opportunity to find similarities, leading you to learn from others, identify new opportunities, and seek like-minded partners. And lastly, it can be a bridge to yourself. What's your why? If it doesn't jump to the front of your mind, reflect on your projects and most meaningful work, and derive a hypothesis that you can continue to test as you hone your craft. If you want to expand on your craft, realize you already have the foundation to do so. Designers hold the unique power and skill set to build on top of the world's whys. We have the skill set to listen, the process to build, the superpower to create, which is what we have to maximize as design moves into new spheres. This uniquely positions us to be bridges in the world.